Hey, how's it going, everyone? I just had to post a video. I was just watching the latest upload from AMTV, and it just got me sort of laughing, but also serious message that he's sharing today. So let's hear what he's got to say. This is Christopher Green from AMTV. It's a channel that has almost 700,000 subs, and he's, I would say, sort of a doomsday type guy, and then a Bitcoin guy, and a prepper.
Importantly, many of the people governing this country, wake up. How many more warnings are you going to get? How many more earthquakes are going to come and warn the people of California to leave and to flee and to...
He claims to have had a vision where he saw, I think, LA being destroyed. That's the setup. I've kind of scrolled into the video, but that's what he's talking about. The title is Evacuate California Now. Man sees vision of imminent destruction.
Seek shelter in the mountains as the angels had to forcefully remove Lot. Now remember, they also told Lot's wife not to turn around and look behind as they were fleeing, and she did. She made that fateful act, and she turned into a pillar of salt.
He's using the analogy of Sodom and Gomorrah to explain to people to leave California because it resembles historical Sodom, which is accurate.
You know, we've grown accustomed to the big cities, and they're so convenient. Isn't it so nice? It's a lot harder to live on rural properties or rural land, or to seek shelter in the mountains, or have to subsist on our own. Actually have real skills, to get our hands dirty, to roll up our sleeves. We've gotten so used to what the city provides us. But have we not turned into modern Babylon, building up our own egos and altars so that we can pretend to be our own gods? Is that not the transhuman agenda? Build an altar to yourself, merge with the machines, become God himself?
To me, it's trying to live forever through technology, or that illusion of a longer life without God.
You see, we're just repeating cyclically the same mistakes over and over again. But the point of this video, really, it's a message to Californians from a guy who has fled, who has left, who grew up there, who still has a lot of love in his heart for California, who thinks it's beautiful, who it was an amazing place to grow up, and now this. You know, almost all of my friends have left California, all of them that were born there. Smart individuals, talented people, people with money.
A lot of them are moving to Texas.
People with businesses, people with culture, people with real understanding of what's going on there. Cultural degrade. You know, I spent about a year in Hollywood, and honestly, I had to leave as quickly as I got there because that place is an absolute vile pit of darkness.
True.
We see it with people like Harvey Weinstein. We see it run rampant in Hollywood today. The messaging that they give our children, the propaganda that they feed their brains.
It's Hollyweird. This is not new information. It's just these Ashkenazi, these fake Jews, the Satanists. They run all the movies and the music. They still put truth in there. You know, God uses them to teach us things. Some of them that are implanted in lies, and then some of them just by contrast, like just not to do what they're doing. So he's ripping into them right now.
And we are looking, and we are laying witness to modern day Sodom.
Jeez, this guy's not holding back, man. Credit to this guy. He's trying to sell certain products, but he said America's Babylon, said it's Sodom, and he's talking about just how evil Hollywood is. And so, he's not really, and he talks about the mark of the beast. He mentioned it here too. And so, with an image that he posted. So, and he's talked about the mark of the beast. And in a few videos recently, he's talked about how he's a flat earther now. So, this guy, pretty much for me, he's only missing, Jesus is black, and then the virgin birth.
I've had the vision. I've seen the burning embers of a city collapsing. I felt the terror in my own heart.
By the way, one quick point I just thought of. I just noticed that Call for an Uprising, his Jesus is now like darker skin during his intro. So I thought that was kind of interesting. a small victory for the real Jesus.
Shut me up in the middle of the night multiple times. I see that rage. Whether or not it's a natural disaster, it's the long overdue big one hitting, it's the Cascadian fault line erupting, or other faults that they said are dormant and are quiet, which they're now telling me American public and California residents aren't dormant. Something big is about to hit. Now look, most of you are probably going to write this off, and most of you probably won't listen. I'm kind of the modern equivalent of that guy in a street corner holding a sign that the end is near.
Could be.
But honestly, I don't care about that. I don't care. You know, this video is an attempt to maybe just save one person. One. Abraham said to God, he said, God, what if there are 50 holy men in the city of Sodom? Would you not save them? Would you not save the whole city for the sake of those that are righteous? And God said, yes, I would. I will. He said, well, God, I don't mean to test you. I'm paraphrasing my own words. What if there's only 40 righteous men? Will you still save Sodom? And God said, yes. And then he said, well, what if there's only 30 or 20 or 10? And still God said, yes.
His delivery is mad funny.
I would save them. I would save the righteous. There was just one. But there wasn't. There wasn't. It had all fallen.
There wasn't 10.
Darkness. It was all hellfire. And it had to be exterminated. Lot fled. The angels pulled him. He at first he wanted to go to another city. Can I just go to this other one? Do I really have to go to the mountains? He eventually fled to that city, and then eventually fled to the mountains. Look, if your gut, in your heart, something is telling you that there's something wrong, you want to scream. The bottom of your soul. You're seeing social, societal, cultural degrade in collapse in your home state. You see people dying in the streets. You see homeless people on the rise. And now the threat of virulent disease.
Those are the plagues, in my opinion. All these people who break down Revelation and are waiting for some massive stuff, it's like all these things that are happening to me are the judgments, you know, and it's just people don't care. They're waiting for some massive thing, I guess, for God to just like spew out or whatever, which to me, those are not really plagues or judgments, because like if they're pretty much there to kind of kill lots of people, it's like in short bursts. To me, that's just like God sort of, you know, literally cleaning up the place. And so to me, there all the stuff that's a lot of the stuff that's described in Revelation, plagues, the vials and all that are happening. You know, they're just happening in different parts of the world and all that kind of stuff. And it's slowly but surely, and now it's more obvious, making the world, the earth, unlivable. And so, you know, this is crazy though. You know, Christopher Green went into America's Babylon, went into the Mark of the Beast, and went into America's Sodom and Gomorrah, talked about the poor, how they're increasing in number. And, you know, it's America's ripe for judgment. And so he's not really holding back, you know, at all, and credit to him. So I wanted to just use his example of Sodom and Gomorrah. So if we think of Abraham's righteousness as here, and he's talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, let's say here in terms of its evil, but he's still saying like this amount of evil for what Abraham knew, he was like, just if there's like some people in there, just let it, you know, spare it, because I know that there's some people there that I care about. So imagine now we have a world of people down here, me, the Christopher Greens, the Hebrews, all that. We're not on Abraham's level. We're somewhere down here. I don't want to go further down the screen where I would be. No, but somewhere below. We're calling out evil, and it could potentially be more. It's definitely on a bigger scale than Sodom and Gomorrah, because Sodom and Gomorrah was like a relatively small place. Population, I think, was close to like on the order of thousands, you know, not like millions and stuff that we have here. So Abraham is petitioning God to save and spare a place at this much evil. And then we have now large groups of people, a growing number of people every day, and some not even religious, pointing out that this is evil and potentially, let's say, more evil. But even if, let's say, America was less evil, which is not, but let's say it was even down here, we have a huge amount of people that are much less righteous than Abraham who are calling out evil. And so this would make sense that God would be more inclined to destroy it if even not faithful people as much as Abraham are acknowledging that there's evil, there, and it's primed for judgment. And so to me, if Abraham knew what was going on in Sodom, like they didn't have like cameras and stuff like that, news and all that. So, he didn't go and check in on it every day. He just knew that there were people there that he knew, and, maybe wouldn't want that. And so, he did what he knew, negotiated with God, which in my opinion, righteous men do every day, really. And so, now if Abraham were to see this, if let's say he's back here in the reincarnation, which I doubt, but let's just say he is, he would be like, this place has to go, and to me, it's further affirmed by people like Christopher Green. Let's just say he's an actor or Mason. He's calling it out. And so it's like, this is like very, very, it's still alternative news, but it's still very much mainstream alternative news. Like, he has huge following, and even just looking at the likes on this video, it's almost 2,000 likes and only 200 thumbs down. So like, there are people who agree, with his message, and he's already touched on 3 very, very controversial topics: America, Mystery Babylon, the Mark of the Beast, and America's modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And so it's not outlandish, and so again, I put myself in this camp. We have a group of people who are much, 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 much less righteous than Abraham, who are calling out things as evil, to a place that I'm virtually certain we could quantify is more evil than historical Sodom and Gomorrah, strictly just by the breadth, of their deception and evil and the number of people. How much more inclined would it be, would God be to judge it, and execute the things that are prophesied against it, in my opinion, in Revelation? So just something to think about. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.